Hey guys, we've got news for Global on May 12th. The collaboration with War of the Visions. And this week, rejoining me to discuss a game he apparently enjoys is ShadoWalker.
Okay, so enjoy is a very particular word in this situation, but yes, I do play it. Hi.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
Uh,
actually why I'm happy you could join me because even when I'm like not I'm personally not hyped for the upcoming like event or whatever. I always try to get someone that is excited so like at least they can balance out my unhappiness. But it sounds like you are a little disappointed as well. But we're going to talk about that. And actually, I should probably start with the banner news. So it is King of Leonis Mont, a
uh,
a reprint of Venera who got no upgrades at all, and then the awakened Stern Leonis. So tell me about these units, Shadow.
so Mont is a boring tank. It's an SLB tank. Like, who the fuck thinks that? Okay, sorry. Who the heck thinks that SLB tanks are a good idea? Like, that alone is already very boring. But then here we get Venera with literally nothing.
No
Like, I
upgrades.
can't believe I can't believe they just gave Venera like a unit that's what, year and a half old? Year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's one too that. Okay, so this is a little bit of a strange thing to say is because she's like honestly a terrible unit other than the 90% break, which was a huge deal
100%.
when she came out. Huge deal because it was she was the first. I'm pretty sure she was the first, wasn't she?
Yeah,
I think she
she was
was.
the first deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Yep.
So riding on the back of that, everyone was like, Venera is amazing because of the 90 break. And it's true. A 90% break is literally, you can bring that and nothing else, and you are worth your slot in Dark Visions. And that is Venera. She brought that, and her damage from day one was trashed here. It was always bad. She brings no real utility. She has Mirage, like a small Dark Amp. That's the extent of her utility. But that 90 break was a really big deal. And like you said, fast
No,
forward like a year and a half, and 90 break is still amazing, but we've got way better options, and she gets no upgrades.
one fascinating things about this, like this case of just straight up copy pasting it, is that in JP, Venera is a totally different unit, right? Like during this banner when JP got it, so it
Y-
makes sense that JP was able to dump Venera and Mont in the same banner, but in GL it makes no sense at all.
yeah, like all they had to do was something to make her relevant, like give her like either EX skills or mastery crowns to boost her LB modifier, or maybe give her like a finisher move, or give her something to do something to be worth it because
Like,
she's literally splitting the banner with Mont. So people that are pulling from Mont, you're kind of insane. But if you're pulling from Mont, Venera is like trolling your polls by splitting the banner with him, and that's unfortunate.
I think the only reason, and this is a very slim, like I'm trying to see the glass half full type bullshit, is where you from might want Venera is because of her STMR. Because her STMR is still very slot efficient. Obviously not as good as the Kingdom Hearts STMRs, I think, but like still,
That is
right?
a good point. I've used it quite a bit for builds, mostly in Clash of Wills, where you need like evasion on your damage dealers. Yeah, Venera's STMR is actually quite good for that. All right, so let's talk
So,
about the step up itself. So it's
oh
another
God.
it's another vision card step up. 28K for the step up, and you get a vision card. That's what most people are probably interested in. So we're gonna skip straight to that. So what do you think of this vision card, Shadow?
Okay, if it didn't give defense, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, like it's if this was an attack vision card, it's great. It's obviously trying to make like the meme tanks deal DPS stuff more relevant, and we'll get to Mont in a minute. Mont is like quote unquote a DPSing tank, but not really because his damage is terrible. But yeah, like it just never works out. Like we had Maeve, and even way back in the day, we had like Victor
No,
Marchenko, Maeve. There's some other tanks that
no.
were trying to deal damage. Like Snow is kind of like a wannabe damage dealer, but it never works out where a tank can be a damage dealer. I guess
Okay,
Chow
okay.
is the closest success
Did
story.
they Did they ever fix defense and SPR scaling moves? Because the inherent issue was that because all of those defense and SPR weapons didn't have enough attack, the
Yes,
calculation was all wonky. right?
Yes,
Did they
yes.
fix it?
That is fixed. The logarithmic formula no longer penalizes tanks for using a low attack power weapon. Yes, that is fixed. But unfortunately, if you're dealing damage, you kind of have to use a double hand weapon. And if there's like no good two-handed defense scaling source. Not to mention, tanks are pretty much balanced around using a shield for their defense.
Yeah.
And if you're not using a shield, if you're using like a two-hander with like, I think the best two-handed defense weapon is like the hammer, that limited event hammer. I don't even know if Mont can use hammers, but even if he can, it's still not great. It's like a 140 defense. I forget how much it is. It's not very high, and you're not using a shield, which means he's missing a ton of flat defense or equipment defense. It's a big problem, and his damage is just not great. Not to mention his modifiers are low in the first place. But as far as the card itself, it's a decent card. So it gives like the chain cap up for physical tank units only. That's such a meme, and it doesn't even work. And LB damage and equipment damage. This is unlocked, but like, who cares? And it has no attack power or magic on it, so you're just not going to use this on damage dealers. So this,
Yeah, I don't know what this is even for. Like, if it was an attack card, I think I could imagine someone pulling on this banner to pull for just for this card. But I can't imagine anybody pulling on this banner to pull for this card ever.
yeah, this card for those people that want to just for the fun, like maybe on like an easier content, and they want to use Mont because they love Mont, and they want to use him as a damage dealer. This card is probably great for him. I didn't really compare it to his own card, but I'm pretty sure this one's probably going to be better. So there is that. For people that want, and it is just a plain old tank card because it is 100% HP and defense. Unfortunately, in about a month, we're going to be getting the Dragon Quest card for free. It's not confirmed. It's a collaboration. We sometimes skip collaborations, but we have gotten every single Dragon Quest collaboration ever. So we're going to get the Dragon Quest collaboration. We always do. And that one gives you a way better tank card for free. So hold out for a month and get a free card that's even better. There you go.
Does that activate for everyone like this one?
Yes, the Dragon Quest card is universal. It's 3,000 base HP versus 1,500, so it's double the base HP, and it's 110 to every stat. Defense, spirit, attack, and magic. It is just way better. Now, it has no passives, like literally none at all. But just for raw stats, it is the best card in the game for tanks. I love it. I use it consistently in JP on all my tanks. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, okay.
And it's free, completely free, which is like awesome. So if you want to go, if you're pulling on the banner, I mean, obviously this is high value if you're pulling it in the banner, so go for it. It's a free perk. It's not a bad card. It's really not a bad card. It's just, in my opinion, 28K, not worth.
It's also the worst card so far.
Pretty much, yeah. I would definitely agree with that. And then the regular follow-up step up. So as far as Mont himself, we kind of talked about him a little bit. Let's talk about him specifically now. So as you mentioned, Shadow, he is a tank that tries to be a damage dealer. And once again, here's the big problem here. You know who does like the tanking role with some damage boosting better than him? Is Warrior of Light, who is in
Oh my god, he comes out.
JP,
he comes out soon.
JP, it was literally the very next banner in JP, and because Global's been pretty much following JP, it's probably going to be either next week or the week after. So he gets crept immediately. He gets power crept instantly with a permanent unit.
Didn't Gabby get crowns or some shit like during his FF12 banner too? So like, if people really want a damage dealing tank, they could theoretically wait for Gabby's buffs. I mean, okay, that might be for a while yet, so
yeah, that is a little far. And as far as pure tanking goes, you know who does better than him at pure tanking? Runda.
Who?
The free unit Runda. Yeah, Runda is a better tank than Mont because Runda gives the whole party 85% general mitigation. Mont gives 75 on his SLB. Well, Runda's SLB too. But who thought this was a good idea? Who thought it was a good idea to make a Neovision's banner unit worse than a free unit and then creep him immediately anyway? Like, that is such a troll move for them to do in JP. And then Global's apparently just copying it because no buffs at all.
What's so baffling about Mont too is that like he only covers one type of shit. Like, he only covers physical, right?
Correct.
And
yes.
And then this SLP is a damage thing. It has some utility, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a hodgepodge of a kit. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me that this could be a kit in 2022. It feels bare bones. But I guess I'm talking about most JP kits by this point, eh?
It's, I mean, that is true. Most JP units are pretty big duds. You know, there are definitely some winners out there, and you know, there's some good ones, but yeah, this is one of those kind of duds, in my opinion. Now, some people may disagree, and some people may say, you know, I use him in JP and I tanked something. I don't know what you tanked, because like the trials in JP are magic trials these days, and you don't tank in dark visions. So I where are you using him in JP again for people that are going to come to the defense? But let me know in the comments. You know, if you think Mont is good, by all means, let me know. You know, explain why. And then his card itself, his card. I didn't even look at it. So what does it do? 1,000. So it's lower HP, lower defense, guts, lock to physicals, flat stats, and then some killers to tanks only, which is a meme. Yeah, it's just straight up worse than the banner card. So it's bad.
It's pretty bad. I hate the artwork. They could have used so many other artworks from War of Divisions, and they used this one. By God,
what is this from? This
it's the end of season 1. It's a cutscene from end of season 1, basically, in reference after. And this is a bit of a spoiler, but like when Mont defeats Stern, they look at this crystal, and yeah, it's when it shows up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And then his TMR is HP, and then some killers locked to using a sword. I guess if you're using a sword anyway, and you need a double killer for Beast and Human, this would be something, but bleh. And then the STMR is again locked to physical tanks for the damage boost. And it's a madness of using a barrier. So like it's just this whole week is just a skip. And then Venera. Venera is no changes. So yeah, as she's been for a year and a half.
Okay. All right, so here's a bit of a background story about Venera. I mean, in FFPE, she kind of just looks like a what do you call it? A fan pleasing unit, I guess, in a way.
Okay.
She has a really interesting backstory, especially with Dario, like her husband, and I think she probably has the most heartbreaking story of all of the War of Visions unit. And I highly recommend just reading up on her Wikipedia page for anybody that's interested. It's very
cool.
Nice.
If I remember correctly, like didn't. Just, to, I guess, explode the War of the Vision story a little bit, wasn't she like an assassin sent to kill Dario and then fell in love with him and had a kid with him or something like that?
Yeah, basically, but Dario ended up dying anyways.
Oh,
that's kind of sad.
That didn't work out. And then Stern, the Neo Vision's Awakening. So this is your weekly bonus unit. The end.
So, do we get enough for an EX1?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes. I got the news up here somewhere. So we get Stern. We get 25 fragments is EX0. 50 more is EX1, and then here's the STMR mogul as well. Yeah, so you get the full package all the way to EX1 from login rewards, unfortunately. So you gotta wait till day 9. Actually, you can Neo Vision him immediately, so you can actually get EX1 on day 6, and then you just get the STMR later. But you can actually awaken him without the STMR these days with that update. So yeah, day 6 EX1 completely free. If you had any from the previous collaboration, then you can get it sooner. But so to give some information about this guy, he's really bad. He's like really bad. So if you just got like the Neo Vision's Awakening Squall, yeah, this is way downhill from there. So he has really low modifiers on his LB, and then his trance shift, and then to use his modifier, he has to take damage from physical and then counterattack it to get his modifier boost. It's the stupidest design.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb. You're never ever going to use this guy. Even if you're a fan, you're still not going to use him. And of course, someone's going to say, "But I am." By all means, it's your game. Do what you want. He's real bad. But he's a bonus unit. Yeah, go for it.
I can't believe they ruined the War of the Visions this hard. Like it's probably their bigger cash cow than FFB by this point, to be frank. But then here they are just shafting it in FFB. So
it's a shame. He looks really cool, honestly, in his shift form. I think it looks really cool. I like that sprite.
Night of Ruined Stern is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. But his STR is, I don't know. It was good once upon a time. I pulled for him like the last collaboration. I STMR moguled him, and I used the STMR like twice. And I have not used this in forever. So,
and to be frank, the attack on that is too low for like modern content, I think.
That's kind of the problem
Like
with
if
the
you
yeah Clash of Wills gears and all that too. It's just like I basically never use this anymore, but it's just still technically a good item.
yeah, I mean it's just 50% LB damage is now more ubiquitous too, right? It used to be a lot more rare to get like
Mm-hmm.
50% LB out of anywhere. But
Yeah.
there we are now with a bunch of STMRs giving LB damage.
Mm-hmm. And then the event is it's actually I called it a raid. It's actually a Mog King. It's a farming event. So my mistake. You get some generic gear and then the upgraded to the sword. So, same story here. So this looks like a good physical tank sword, you would think, right? 500 flat defense, that's pretty good. Yeah, in like a week or two, we're getting Warrior Blight's Chronicle Battle for free. It's way better. So, yeah,
Oh my God.
power crept instantly in a week or 2 weeks.
Is Sleep Blade still the same Sleep Blade?
Yes, but they're not rerunning the special item world
The item
enchantment.
world?
Yeah, so it's the original Sleep Blade with no cool enchantment, so pretty terrible. And even with the enchantment, it's still not that great. Now notice here for the crafting, this is JP does this a lot. Global usually changes it to where we don't have to do this, but I guess they're not this time. You need to steal the materials from the special battle. So make sure you equip. You don't have to bring a thief. You can literally craft the steel materia and give it to anyone, and then give them either Mark of the Raven or Thief's Bracer. That way, steel doesn't fail, because it'll sometimes fail on non-thieves. But with those items, it'll be 100% success rate, and yeah, you can steal with anyone. So just make sure you steal the crafting materials from
Okay,
this right here.
but if you steal, you actually have to play the game instead of autoing. So just bring a Vaughn and auto it.
Actually, Vaughn doesn't steal with his auto attack, but it does is Zidane. Lightning fast Zidane's auto attack will steal. So there you go.
If you auto with Vaughn, his LB steals, doesn't it?
Oh, the LB, it does. Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I forgot if you have auto turned on with LBs, and he does. Yep, that'll work too.
Yep.
That being said, though, if by memory, this boss is like sort of bulky. You can still turn one him, but I don't think you're gonna turn one him with just auto attacking like a normal raid boss. You would have to like set up your LB capping on turn one. By memory, I'm thinking he was pretty bulky, but I don't remember specifically.
Okay.
It's not hard in any case, but you might have to use the repeat button instead of the auto button. So yeah.
Okay, then that would mean that you probably want to steal anyways. Okay.
And then this is, I swear to you, I don't know if Gumi has a sense of humor, if they are literally tone deaf, or if they just have no idea what they're doing. They're asleep at the wheel. So we're getting Dagger Mastery upgrades on a week that, for one thing, Venera doesn't have any upgrades, but Venera doesn't even have this passive. You know who has Dagger Mastery? Laswell and Reagan and like the 5-star Zidane. Why are they doing this week? Are they just like rubbing the nose in our facts that they're not upgrading Venera? But like, we're gonna give you Dagger Mastery because Venera uses daggers and now she's upgraded and she doesn't even have this passive. It's like they're like shoving our faces in the fact that they're not upgrading Venera by upgrading a passive on 5-star dagger units. What is going on here? Can you explain this to me, Shadow?
Yeah, I can totally explain this to you. There is no logic to this. It's just Gumi. Like, okay, so if this is only to 5-star units, why would they even touch it? That's my other thing too. Like,
Exactly.
They skipped all the 5-star enhancements, right?
I know. It feels like literally someone is like cackling behind their desk. We know we're not upgrading Venera. I'm going to rub their faces in it by upgrading Dagger Mastery just to put a broad spotlight of how we're not upgrading Venera, but we're going to upgrade Dagger Mastery just to make you feel worse. Like, who approves this? Who rubber stamps the decision to do this? I don't even understand what is going on in their office. How does this happen? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah.
We already talked about the Logger Rewards. And we're getting a free daily summon. A free single daily summon.
Yeah, it's not even the 10+1.
Yeah, one summon per day, because apparently like a real summon was too much to ask. So, yeah, I don't know. Enjoy.
Okay. So, I have a bit of a thing. I think FFP took the worst lessons from War of the Visions. What I mean by that is War of the Visions was by all means a very successful game, right? But like they took all the worst lessons from it and applied it to FFB, starting from shards and like limited introducing vision cards. Like there's a lot of things that they did, and War of the Visions has a nice daily summon thing where you literally daily summon shards. Like you know how we did the friend shard summon thing in GL for
Mm-hmm.
for FFB?
Yep.
Well, in War of the Visions, what they do is they use Guild to summon the on banner units shards every day. So the on banner units is guaranteed, and then if there's multiple on banner units, you get a choice. But because it's an everyday thing, like it doesn't stop, it's not an event type shit. It just keeps going, so it makes sense that the daily shard is there. But for FFB, they always take the worst lessons from daily free from the shard summons to shard dungeons and everything. Because in World of Visions, the shard dungeons are permanent. I guess in JP it's permanent too, but like it's character based too. You don't
Yeah.
need to. Anyway, sorry, I was ranting a bit. It's just
Oh, it's fine.
FFB
No,
always takes the
no,
worst decisions
I
and
agree.
then runs with it.
It's like crazy the way they did that friend point shard thing. Like the friend point shard thing would be fine if it was a regular occurrence, but when did it happen? Like 6 months ago, and it's still not
It
back.
happened
Like,
twice, right?
yeah, it's so rare. Like if it was just a permanent thing, when you built up friend points, just stick them on the banner, and getting like 4 fragments for Lena or whatever would be fine, because then okay, maybe tomorrow I'll summon that last fragment. It'd be exciting. It'd be something to look forward to every day. It'd give you the reason to log in. It'd be sensical. No, we do it once per 6 months, and you have for 6 months you have Lena stuck at 49 out of 50 fragments. That's helpful.
Yeah, and oh god. I have a character that's stuck at like out of the 99 before an EX2, and it's like, oh my god, do I run through a shard dungeon or not?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And then War of the Visions. Now, to give Gumi credit where credit is due, I am thrilled to death. They are listening to feedback. Notice right here, after asking for this for like a year, the final bosses are going to open on Saturday morning, not Monday morning. Meaning, people that have more free time on the weekends can use the weekend for the hard bosses and get the actual 2 weeks of trying. They get 2 weekends instead of one, which is a really big deal for people that are too busy during the week to play games. They do it on the weekends. So this is such an amazingly good change. It's such a small thing, but it's so good that they made the final bosses available on Saturday morning. I love this. I've been asking for this for a year. Thank you for finally doing it. That's
After
great.
22 visions, Dark Visions rather.
What was
Did they
that?
make this change? This is the 22nd Dark Vision, I think, is it? The
Um,
21st? Or
I'm
something
not
like
sure.
that.
Oh, right here up, yeah, Dark Vision is number 21 for global. So yeah, 21 Dark Visions. So about 2 years. Crazy. And then this is 50K for the winner. We're not going to be sharing rank. You can't cap the final boss, so the usual. We are getting some more weapons. So the hammer, the
Are any
whip,
of these two-handed, or are all these like double?
all one-handed. All
Oh my
one-handers.
god.
Yeah, these are all pretty terrible. Notice that we still don't have the final rank. They are holding this back from global. The final rank came out in JP like a year ago. We are literally like a year late at this point for the rank 12 weapons, which give like 295 attack power or magic for the magic stuff. And yeah, they're not giving. You know what I think they're waiting for? This is classic Gumi that they hold back upgrades until they're irrelevant. You know when we're finally going to get the rank 12 rod?
When?
The day after Magic Variance comes out, meaning it's then useless because all you ever use is two-handed rods at that point.
Oh
So
my goodness. It's
there,
such a goomy thing to do, isn't it?
that is such a shitty thing to do. They wait until something is irrelevant before giving it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I look forward to the day or the same day that we get Magic Variance. Then we'll get the rank 12 rod.
Okay, so here's a bit of a thing. Just because we're on the topic of World of Visions this week, World of Visions is in their like 2.5 anniversary in JP right now, and they had a big stream like talking about shit. So in the stream, like the producers and the directors, they all came out and they actually talked about feedback. They addressed certain things, and World of Visions' biggest feedback was that they wanted the tactics rerun, and they got their tactics rerun. And during that time, they talked about why certain balance changes were happening and how they were updating X and Y units. And they are updating old units for free. That's the thing that was boggling my mind. Gumi's updating units for free, and they're giving you explanations to why Rams is getting these buffs and Delete is getting these buffs, etc., etc. But here, Gumi doesn't give us an explanation or shit. No, no, we just have to eat what's given to us. It's such a vast difference of how they treat these two communities. It's just so weird.
It feels like they basically just, like, ignore the global community at this point. Like, we don't really have any communication whatsoever, or any back and forth communication. Like you said, feedback and all. Like, from the update videos, they used to like take one or two questions. They seemed like just canned answers, and they just picked them. But it was still something. These days, we have literally nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, there's no point of communication whatsoever, and like. Remember when Justin was hired to be, the community manager of both FFB and World Divisions? Well, clearly he's on the World Division side doing his thing, but FFB still needs a community manager. We're 6 years into this game, and yet I don't think Gumi has figured out, customer relations at all. So
it definitely feels that way. I agree completely. I think that's basically it. Yeah, I already talked about this Dark Visions in the last video. I'll have my attempt at a high score run on the bosses when they come out. We'll do the day one stuff on Thursday, and then Saturday I will do the final bosses. That'll be decent. How do you usually rank in Dark Visions, the uncapped Dark Vision Shadow? I'm usually like in the top 500, between 3 to 500. Out of curiosity, where do you land usually?
Last one I was in like 900-ish.
That's
The
pretty
one
good.
before, but usually it's like between 1,500 to 1,000 if I
Okay.
try. But okay, so for this Dark Visions, like, what were the recommended units that you would say like people need to have?
Well, this time, oh yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about that. I'm so glad you said that. I wanted to talk about that. Give me 10 seconds while I pull up the news. We can talk about it in real time. Let's see. I've got it right here, and we'll just replace this. Okay, here's the Dark Vision stuff. Okay, this I wanted to talk about. They are leaving in the LB boost field. I mentioned this briefly in the last news video, but now that it's Dark Visions week, we're going to talk about it more specifically. So they're copying this from JP, which basically, like you say, what are recommended units? LB units. Meaning, like, Dragoons are going to be... Okay, they're not nerfed Dragoons, but other units are being buffed to the point where it relatively lowers the value of Dragoons. Golden Riser, was a popular strategy for 2 months. This basically shoots him straight out of the meta because he's not going to scale with the LB damage field, which is a really big deal. Graph is another huge nerf. So people that spent 40K for the premium Graph, good luck with that. He is heavily nerfed. So how do you feel about the LB damage field being put in on Odin?
Wait, does this just make Furion slightly better than everybody else?
Furion does use his LB, so yes, he is relatively boosted as compared to Dragoons and Graph. Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy now.
That's all that matters. We get that Furion in there. I mean, Furion's actually pretty decent if you've got the returned Fiend on the party and his crowns. Did you actually crown him, the big Furion fan?
Yeah, I did crown him. I do have. He's EX3 as well. So
Nice.
I'm only missing Fina, and I tried pulling for Fina with tickets, but never got her. But I refuse to pull on a premium banner like that right now.
Ooh.
The other thing is then how big is the LB boost?
300%. In JP, global may change it, but I seriously doubt it. So it's 300%.
But this is a field.
It's
right?
it's a quest field, which basically means it's like the Genie field on the Genie trial. It's a field that coexists with every other field, and it cannot be removed or replaced. It is permanently active, and it stacks with everything.
Okay. But it doesn't stack with other LB buffs, like external LB buffs.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah. So if you've got 300 passive, 300 passive, 300 quest field, 300 buff, and then Esther's field, you've got 800% LB damage, if I'm doing the math correctly.
Jesus.
Yeah,
What the heck?
it's insane. It's insane. And then Knight's Grandchild and Sephiroth, Auron, Tyvus, all the premium bursters. They're going to be really good here.
Yeah, like anybody with a beast human killer too probably gets a boost too. But this is an element. Yeah, this is an element locked either. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, in JP it was. Global did remove the element lock, so we can use anything. Yeah. So as far as what am I going to use, I don't really know. I guess probably a Thunder team because I've got Esther. So I guess Esther. I don't even know. Probably Sephiroth because he's still good regardless. I've got an EX3 Arin now. Maybe he makes it onto the party. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, basically I'll be
Interesting.
using LB finishers, and I will not be using. I mean, maybe Kane is still worth it even without the buff. I don't know because I actually with the Sinister login tickets I can get an EX3 Kane at this point. So maybe he's worth it. I don't know. We'll say, but we're talking about Dark Visions too much in the news video, so probably
Yeah,
time
yeah,
to
yeah,
wrap
people already
up.
left.
Anything else you want to say before we close it up, Shadow?
Man, Gumi, why are you being such a bitch with for the visions?
I know this week is for me a skip. If you are War of the Visions fans, I wish you all the luck in your polls. Venera is still a 90 breaker. She does have that. That's still relevant. She doesn't do anything else, but I still use her every now and then because her 90 break is just like just a click. There's no setup, no LB or no risk of hitting the boss like Laura might kill a squishy boss with a 90 break. Yeah, so she's convenient. I wouldn't recommend pulling for her, but if you do, go for it. Anyway, thanks again for joining the
Should
show.
have.
What was
No
that?
worries, no worries. No, last thing. I think they should just give her cow stuff. Okay, that's it.
Oh, they should give her something. They definitely should, but they didn't. All right, so see you guys next time.
Bye.